The Day of Purity is coming up again, February 14. We're going to be talking to Amber Haskew. I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. And Amber, welcome to Faith and Freedom. You are the international director, among other things, for the Day of Purity. And this is an annual event, a Project of Liberty Counsel. Tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. The Day of Purity is an opportunity for students and really youth of all ages to celebrate sexual purity. And so we encourage individuals to either wear white or have a white ribbon or a white wristband to show and to publicly demonstrate their sexual purity until marriage. And also we encourage loyalty within marriage, as that's an equally important aspect. And so on Valentine's Day, it's just a way for people to stand up and to send a counter message to all of the sexual pressure that's going on that specific day.
Well, we also have a Day of Purity card as well that you can carry.
Yes.
And you can get that by contacting Liberty Counsel.
Absolutely. You can contact Liberty Counsel, or you can go onto the Day of Purity website. It's dayofpurity.org. And under the resources link, you can find the Purity Pledge to go ahead and sign. And we will put your name on this card and send it out to you.
Before we talk about some of the reasons why it's important to have a Day of Purity and the issues of sexual purity, how can people get involved in actually organizing the Day of Purity in their location? Because I know we've got, you have expanded this from, I think, 8 countries to 37 countries.
Yeah.
And we have a counterpart that you've been working with now over in the United Kingdom that's doing a very good job over there. So this is expanding around the world, but it's also something that can be done in your local community, in your school, in your church. How can people get involved?
Well, this is very much a grassroots effort, and so if you're interested in this type of a topic, I encourage you to get involved, because there's nobody else besides you that can reach your family, your friends. You have a sphere of influence in this area that nobody else can touch quite like you can. And so first steps, please visit our website, thedayofpurity.org. We have a free planning guide there with everything, ideas from creating yard signs to doing a father-daughter banquet. And I do think that's the most key, that this is a topic that really needs to be taken and addressed within the family. And fathers, it's just your chance to stand up and to lead in this area with your family, and to reach out lovingly and with accountability and encouragement to those in your family. And for pastors and church leaders, I encourage you to support the family in this effort, to reach out to the fathers to see if they have all the information that they need and the resources that they need to have that leadership, and to do it with gentleness and with truth.
Now, you recently were part of creating, and there's some students at Liberty University that were in this video, a YouTube video, and you put it up on our Liberty Counsel YouTube channel, and it went viral. Already, I mean, it's just continuing to grow, but already you have about a couple 100,000 hits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we liked it on the Liberty Counsel channel, but there's actually a specific Day of Purity channel on YouTube. It's just youtube.com/Day of Purity. And so we've already gotten over 180,000 hits on this one video. And it's just a humorous kind of example of that awkward moment at the door, and this couple then deciding to wait for marriage. And so we just kind of wanted to be that voice out in YouTube, on Twitter, encouraging people that just because you see it on the media and in the movies, this doesn't have to be the choice that you make. There are options, and you can successfully choose this life of purity.
So the channel for YouTube is on YouTube, Day of Purity. And it's youtube.com/Day of Purity.
That's correct. So I encourage you to go. There's quite a conversation going on of different people voicing their own opinions, and I'm letting people comment as long as it's not crude, and we're kind of embracing where they are and encouraging them towards this life of purity.
Now, why is it important? I know you've got a lot of different statistics, and you have some new information from the Heritage Foundation, but in addition to obviously biblical reasons, there's a lot of just hard data now that is out there as to the reasons why it's important to remain sexually pure.
Well, obviously, purity is something that God calls us to, and that's first and foremost in obedience to Him. But really the heart of Day of Purity was to try to encourage and educate people, and so that they could talk to their peers and they could talk to their friends that are, secular or agnostic or Christian, with all of these facts and information and statistics encouraging them towards sexual purity. So one of the statistics is that individuals who are sexually active in their teens will be about 3 times more likely to either drop out or be expelled from school, and they're 50% less likely to make it through college. And so those interested in the future of these teens should be focused on encouraging abstinence and encouraging purity.
Now, Heritage Foundation recently released some information about the emotional impact of having sexual relationships outside of marriage when you're young like this. What did they ultimately show?
It was really, really interesting and almost devastating personally for me when I realized how closely sexual activity in teens ages 14 to 17 is linked with depression. If you're looking at students that are either always depressed or usually depressed, that those who are sexually active are 3 times more likely to be in that category than those that are sexually pure and sexually abstinent. And so this is just a clear way that individuals and students that are hurting can be encouraged in purity and can be brought along and built up rather than torn down through of all the sexual exploits and drama that goes on in these high schools. And so I would even say that if these teachers and counselors are truly interested in bullying, in depression, and even suicide, that sexual abstinence is the best way to encourage these teens to have that intrinsic self-worth and to not make those negative decisions.
And you've got here on this Day of Purity document here from Liberty Counsel, from dayofpurity.org. When a woman is married as a virgin, her expected divorce rate is 76% lower than a non-virgin. For men, it's 63% lower, according to a landmark study, the Social Organization of Sexuality, Sexual Practices in the United States. So that's outside of Heritage, that's another particular study that continues. One study after another supports the biblical values of sexual purity.
And it's really neat to see how oftentimes we as Christians have this idea that God's trying to keep our hand out of the cookie jar. And that couldn't be farther from the truth, that God is actually trying to protect us, trying to help us have a good and satisfied and fulfilled life. And so it's just something that we, in trusting God and obeying His principles, there are all these secular reasons that show that that really is the best way.
And another amazing fact is that among those who have already lost their virginity, 2/3 wish they had waited longer to have sex. 77% among girls, 60% among guys, according to the National Campaign to Prevent Teen Pregnancy. So that's another one. In 2009, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention reported 19 million new cases of sexually transmitted diseases in the United States, and that the treatment for STDs costs more than $16.5 billion, not million, billion dollars annually.
And that just illustrates how sexual promiscuity is something that does affect each and every one of us. In these treatments, that number, the 16.5 billion, that doesn't talk anything about the depression, the emotional, the tears. You can't put a price tag on the tears that are involved with sexual activity and the disappointment and the heartache of not waiting for marriage.
One more statistic is while people in the age group of 15 to 24 make up only 25% of those who are sexually active, in 2009 they accounted for over 50% of new STD infections, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. And some of these sexually transmitted disease are HPV, human papillomavirus, which is the most common cause of cervical cancer in women, and that's an incurable disease. Once you get it, you have it for the rest of your life. It's the most common cause or reason for cervical cancer, which ultimately leads in serious medical complications and even death.
And there's all of these very grave consequences on one side, and on the other side, what the Day of Purity is trying to do is to send out a message of hope.
And it's a message of celebration and encouragement. Well, thank you, Amber, for your leadership in this. Go to the dayofpurity.org. That's the dayofpurity.org. It's coming up February 14. Get information, download it. Make sure that you spread that to your church, to your school, to your community. And if you're listening or know someone around the world, spread it to them as well, because now we have 37 nations that are involved in the Day of Purity and thousands of sites here in the United States. Get involved right now, thedayofpurity.org. You can also visit Liberty Counsel's website to help with this project and many others by giving an online credit card contribution or other contribution you can mail in. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org.